Good afternoon. I'm Scott Okamoto, the Community Outreach and Marketing Manager at ACC's Maple Tree Village Senior Living Community. I'm delighted that you could join us as we welcome in concert Daniel Roest on guitar and Francesca Anderson, the principal flute player for the Folsom Lake Symphony. Many of you watching today have been sheltered in place for many months now. Concerts like this help to connect us with each other through our love of music. Later on in the program, ACC's President and CEO, Derek Lamb, will explain to you how you can help keep programs like this going. Before we start, I wanted to say a word about assisted living at ACC. Assisted living at ACC offers all the comfort of home with the care of family. At both locations, Greenhaven Terrace and Maple Tree Village, we offer assisted living with personalized care plans for each individual resident. Those personalized care plans offer a person-centered approach to care, really getting to know you, your likes and dislikes. We offer supportive independence all the way through multiple levels of assisted living. At Maple Tree Village, we have enhanced services for those with memory deficits. Our memory care community, made up of 30 private apartments, offers supportive care for those living with dementia and other forms of memory loss. If you're interested in learning more about assisted living at ACC, please contact us. Contact information is now on your screen, and reach out. We'd be happy to share our communities with you, as well as how we can offer a personalized care plan for you or your loved one. One more announcement. Please join us next Thursday, March 4th, for a conversation with Maylee Tom, hosted by Sacramento's own Tom Nakashima. In the last 40 years, Maylee has opened the door for Asian Americans and women to enter the world of politics. You'll hear about her political journey as well as her personal story, both of which are fascinating. And now, on with the show. Please welcome Daniel Roest and Francesca Anderson.
Today. We just played a couple of tunes by the famous Mr. Johann Sebastian Bach. These were written for his second wife, Anna Magdalena Bach. There's a whole notebook of little tunes like that by Bach. We're going to continue with our Bach set and play a couple of pieces that are from different cantatas that he wrote. First, we're going to do Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring from cantata number 147. And then we're going to play a tune called Sleepers Awake from Cantata number 140. Bach was a devoutly religious man. He was a Lutheran, and so much of his music was written for Lutheran church services, and these are two examples. Thank you. That concludes our Bach set.
I'd like to just chime in that that arrangement was by our friends Terry Suma and Jerry Snyder.
Next, we're going to play a very different type of piece. This is called Pastoral Joyeux by the French composer Émile Desportes. Desportes is a very interesting character. He was born in 1878. He was a French composer, conductor, painter, inventor, and explorer. Most of his compositions were written for wind instruments, but he also wrote songs. The Pastoral Joyeux for flute and guitar is probably his best known piece. Translated, it means joyful pastoral care, something we all hope for. He started out as a lawyer, then he was a music professor. He became a painter, inventor, and explorer, and that's what got him into trouble. He fell in love with the Amazon region, and he did several trips down to that region to study the tribes and learn about the culture. And after his third visit, he disappeared and was never heard from again. But at least his legacy lives on in his music. So here is Pastoral Joyeux. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'd like to take a moment at this time to introduce ACC Senior Services President and CEO Derek Lamb to say a few words for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Derek Lamb, President and CEO of ACC Senior Services. I'm also a music lover, and what Daniel and Francesca just played during the first two numbers remind me of Bach, one of my favorite composers and musicians, and really give me back all these memories. So I want to thank them again for performing the wonderful music here at ACC Senior Services. And by now, many of you have seen just how popular ACC's online classes, workshops, and concerts have been. We started doing this last October to offer a way for our seniors to stay connected to the community, to engage their minds, bodies, and spirits in these difficult times during COVID. We have made the initial investments in our studio, staff, and instructors to offer these programs free of charge to the public. We're one of the few, if not the only, senior services organizations in the Sacramento region offering classes, workshops, and concerts in this virtual manner. And so a big thank you for your donations to make this happen. So going forward, we are looking for sponsors or underwriters so we can grow these programs. This means adding more classes and reaching more people throughout the region, even throughout the country. If you would like to be a sponsor or underwriter of ACC programs, please contact Lisa Poon at ACC Senior Services. Once again, I want to thank Daniel and Francesca for the wonderful performances, and we look forward to you continuing to participate in this kind of special events. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Derek. Let me introduce a special piece that we've just learned in the last few months. It's from Nigeria, so you're hearing it perhaps for the first time, as everyone in our audience did in September. It's by the Nigerian composer Taiwo Adegoke, and he's a wonderful person, and he contacted us and offered his music, and we were delighted to debut it. This is called Taiwo. It translates to experience life. So there's a video of him playing that I just love because he's beaming with happiness as he plays. And he recommends to all to experience the beauty of nature and choose happiness. So he says, make yourself happy and all creatures happy. Taiwo, Experience Life by Taiwo Adegoke.
A challenge here. There we go.
All right, here we go.
Thank you. That song always makes me happy. Okay, I think we are now going to do a flutes demo for you. I brought lots and lots of different flutes to show you. You've probably noticed, even with the metal flute, I've played two different styles of head joint. This one is wooden, and this one is metal. So the flute has been evolving for actually tens of thousands of years. Archaeologists believe that the first flutes originated in the area of Greece and the surrounding area, but actually the oldest flute ever found was found in southern Germany in a cave. Many of the flutes were made from animal bones, and that's why they survived for so many years. You can actually look it up. You probably can't see this picture very well from this far away, but I have a picture of the oldest flute made from vulture bones, and it was found in that cave in southern Germany. So many tens of thousands of years of evolution. That's why there's so many different types of flutes and so many different materials that we use to make the flutes. So I'll just demonstrate a couple of them. So you're probably quite familiar with this one, the recorder. Basically, two groups of flutes evolved. The ones that were blown front like this, like a recorder, and the ones that we call transverse that are played to the side, which is what the traditional, now Western flute is descended from. The recorder actually comes in different sizes and shapes. This is the soprano, so I liken it to the piccolo from the Western flute family. They're the highest tones of the flute family. And it's usually made of wood, so it makes a nice woody sound. Scarborough Fair on the recorder. Okay, then there's also the tin whistle, which is the Irish version. Just like its name, it's a little more tinny than the recorder, but it's about the same range. So going backwards, we have, these are called vessel flutes. So anything that sort of has the shape of a ceramic bowl that is closed off and they put finger holes in it, that's a vessel flute. So this is known as an ocarina, but the term ocarina wasn't actually pegged until about the mid-1800s, and it was actually, it was an Italian teenager that came up with that term, and he was trying to get the ocarina to have a wider range, so he came up with one that had more finger holes in it and could play more of a scale. The literal translation of ocarina is, in Italian, is the little goose. So it's an instrument that I guess sounds like a little goose. This is actually a ceramic Chinese ocarina that a student of mine brought back. She went on tour to China with a flute choir, the Davis Youth Flute Choir, and she brought this back for me, and I just think it has a really pretty sound. It's one of my personal favorites. The ocarinas traditionally are made from clay. This one I believe is wood, but the ceramic one speaks a little bit better. This one's just a little more airy sounding. Okay, I'm going to move on to my Irish flute. So in medieval times, the transverse flute started to take over the recorder type flute. So what was more popular were all the flutes played sideways. So this is very similar to what the classical flute looked like from that time period, just a wooden tube with finger holes drilled in it and a hole that you blow through. And it's just kind of a traditional classical scale. It's a pretty sound with the wood. My husband actually went to Ireland on business and he brought this one back for me, so it was a nice find. Pretty sound. So now I'm going to move on to my personal favorites, and this is what actually got me started on developing a flute collection, are the native Indian flutes. So I have 3 to show you. This is what I would call the piccolo version. It has 5 finger holes, and it's blown forward like a recorder. So that's a nice high-pitched one. I think it's made of walnut. And then I have my newest one that I got on a camping trip to Zion National Park. And I believe this one is also walnut. They're always decorated with beautiful symbols. This one has a little jewel down here. Just really beautiful craftsmanship on the native flutes. So the first non-Western flute that I ever bought is this one. And I just happened upon it. My family was camping. My kids were little. It was back in early 2000s. And we happened to be on a campground that was hosting the largest Native American Indian powwow of the year. And this powwow was a big deal. Tribes came from all over the country, and they had their finals for their dance competitions. And there were all kinds of arts and crafts there, including these beautiful handmade Native Indian flutes. I got very excited about this one because it's a double barrel. So one side is playing a drone while the other side is doing the changing notes. So I can't harmonize with myself on a normal flute, the Western flute. So I bought this, and I've had a lot of fun with it ever since. So I think that's a good overview. There are many, many more different types of flutes. This, just so you know, is one from East India. They call it the bansuri, and this is another one that a student brought back from a trip. The finger holes are quite large because in East Indian music, they like to kind of bend the pitches. But it's also a beautiful sound. It's made of bamboo. So that is a little overview of my flute collection. I hope you enjoyed it. Next, we are going to play some Celtic music. And I will actually play a couple of different flutes from the Western flute family. I'm going to demonstrate the alto flute. It's our only transposing flute. It's in the key of G, so it's 4 steps lower. And I will play my regular C flute, and then at the very end, I will play a little bit on the piccolo. It's a little bit of a shrill instrument, so I'll be careful. This is a whole octave above the C flute. So that's 3 of the flutes. There's also such a thing as a bass flute and a contrabass flute. There is a flute choir in the area that I play with called the Camellia City Flute Choir. And it's the first flute choir I've participated in where they have all of the flutes, from the piccolo all the way down to the contrabass flute, which is so big, if you were to unbend it, it would be about 8 feet long. And it's just a really beautiful low bass sound. So check out a flute choir if you have a chance. It's fun. Okay, we're doing She Moves Through the Fair.
Oh, rather,
Do you
Star of
wanna
the County
introduce
Down.
these?
Sure. We'll be doing pieces called She Moved Through the Fair, O Love Divine, and Star of the County Down. Star of the County Down, actually, we do 2 versions, one in 3/4 and one in 4/4. So we just love this music, and I think it suits the combination of instruments we have here to a T.
Do a little vamp here so I can switch flutes. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that. Do you want me to do syrinx or just do, yeah? I'm going to play a flute solo for you now. This is by the very famous impressionistic composer Claude Debussy. It's called Syrinx. And we flutists usually associate it with a story. And we like to say this piece tells the story, it's the legend of how the first flute was born, basically. So Syrinx was a beautiful wood nymph, and she really valued her chastity. And she was wandering through the woods one day, and the half-man, half-goat creature Pan sees her, and he's immediately enamored. He just thinks she's the most beautiful thing he's ever seen, and he has to have her. And she is repulsed and wants nothing to do with him. So there's this cat and mouse going on through the woods, and see if you can hear that in the music. Eventually, Syrinx gets down to the river, but she can't swim, and Pan is catching up to her, and so she calls out to her wood nymph fairy sisters and the gods for help. And so they quickly, just as Pan is getting up to her and he goes to grab her, they turn Syrinx into water reeds by the river. And so he's really angry and he slashes the reeds, and his breath blowing across them makes this beautiful music. So this is how the pan pipes first originated. And this is just a very simple instrument. Each pipe is a different note. The shorter the pipe, the higher the note. So similar concept to a pipe organ. So that's the pan flute. But I will play for you now Syrinx by Claude Debussy. set. The story of Syrinx and the first flute. We're going to end our concert with a wonderful Spanish Baroque piece called Ole de la Cura. You have to imagine the beautiful Spanish dancers in their very colorful and floral dresses, flowers in their hair, spinning to this music. The dance, Ole de la Cura, is considered from the Baroque era, and dancers in Spain are trained in this style of dancing. They would wear ballet-type slippers when they did these dances. So it's considered, part of their tradition, their classical style of dance, if you will. Let's see. I think I will read off of that.
That'd be great. Works for me.
Okay. So much. Thanks for having us. We've really enjoyed spending our afternoon with you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Daniel Roest and Francesca Anderson, for performing at ACC today. Your music has been exciting, moving, and entertaining. What a great way to spend a Thursday afternoon. And thank you, audience, for joining us. Have a great rest of your week.